Hello? What's up?
All is well. Uh, what was the topic again? Was it on?
Uh, you
Um,
you wanted to debate religion and politics and whatnot and separation of church and state, I believe. Let me look back, see exactly what you wanted to debate on. Yeah, you said topics of atheism being the most rational position, religion and politics and government, maybe a little bit of transgenderism and gender. So yeah. So what's your stances on all that?
okay. Well, when we talk about separation, I say there's no separation of church and state. Pretty much, the church I would see as synonymous with religion, and the state would be obviously the government and laws and everything that is pretty much government law enforcement that's on the land. I believe that's not separate. I do believe that atheism is also another religion, and it's not the most uh, rational position to take on the existence of God. Now,
So
I know you.
So I would disagree with that. So, I mean, if you want to say that there effectively is no separation of church and state because religion is able to find its way into politics, I wouldn't argue against that. But as far as should there be a separation of church and state, there absolutely should be. And it is like, that is a part of like our government. Like there is a separation of church and state in our government. It's supposed to be. And I would definitely be highly against that. Atheism also is not a religion, absolutely not, because I don't have any faith in anything. There's no God I believe in. There's nothing supernatural I believe in. There's nothing. I don't believe in anything. I'm just simply as an atheist. I'm simply saying that I'm stating the fact that it is illogical to believe in God. And if you want to get into that, we can absolutely do that.
Be illogical to believe in God.
Yes, it is. So tell me, why do you believe in God?
Well, I think I, I asked the question first. Why did you say it's illogical to believe in God?
Because there isn't any argument that you can give me as to the existence of God that is logical. And I would
Oh, so
please, there's not a single one.
okay, so it's illogical to you, but not necessarily illogical
No,
outright.
no, it's not. It's not subjective. This is not my personal opinion. There's just like there's literally it's not possible. You cannot. There's no possible way. Unless there would like it unless this God somehow exists in a physical nature, then no, because like there's nothing objective that can like justify the existence of God. It doesn't abide by logic. It's all built upon personal incredulities and God of gaps fallacies and arguments to ignorance. I mean, if you have a single logical argument to the existence of God, I would love to hear it.
Well, I'm not really discussing we're here to prove God. We're really talking about atheism. So I think you said you haven't heard anything that's logical argument to you.
Well,
So it's
that's not why atheism is rational. Atheism is rational because it's built on like a robust framework, right? So like it's not in any sort of way like subjective. There's nothing. There's nothing fallacious about acknowledging like science and like accepting that it's like real because like there's nothing that you can do to like I mean like there's nothing wrong with the scientific process. So and believing in the scientific process.
We can believe in the scientific. I'll go here. We can believe in the scientific process, but we still don't know if there's not a God.
Right? So
So it's logical to take the position that doesn't exist anyway.
well I don't know because it's not just that. Let's see, it goes a lot deeper. So like if we're going to talk about that there's no evidence, right? So we have to have like a philosophical discussion, right? And there's nothing, there's no argument that like obviously there's no evidence, right? So
No,
I can't use the lack of evidence as evidence that there is no God, and I don't, right? But me being an atheist, like if there was some type of evidence, then there would that me my position of being an atheist is strictly temporary because if you could present such evidence, then my position would always change. My position is just that basically there is no current evidence. That is an accurate statement, right? And until
no.
there is evidence, right, then there's no reason to believe in something that is is non-existent with any sort. There's not even like anything remotely like close to any type of evidence that there's anything supernatural. That would be my main concern with the belief in a God. There's no evidence to support like a supernatural, but at the same time, like if you have some sort of evidence, then I would love to well, not evidence, but like an argument, a logical argument for like why I should believe currently. I should accept that there is this thing. Is that what you want me to do as an atheist? Do you think that me saying that there's nothing currently existing, right? I disbelieve in the current existence of a God. How is that irrational?
Because you made the statement that there is no evidence.
Right, but
Period.
that's not that's I don't believe that is evidence that God will never exist. I'm saying God currently does not exist
So
according to
God
what we know.
currently does not.
According
So
to
God
all of
currently.
our if according to the evidence, according to the evidence, well, which is there is none. But if there was to be, then sure.
So God currently does not exist, but He can exist later. Is that what you're saying?
If there's some sort of evidence that we don't know, I'm saying we don't know. I believe in science, right? Uh,
Okay, so if we don't know, then you can't say
so
that
science
God
science has a lot
currently.
more answers about the universe. So like my question to you would be like my stance as an atheist is I choose to currently not believe in something that has no empirical evidence to back it, right? And what I choose to believe in is things that have empirical evidence to back them. So my question to you is why would that be irrational? Because I'm an empiricist. So like is there a problem with that?
There is because I think you said that there is no current evidence. Period. Now, do you are you saying no evidence to you that you've seen?
that anyone has seen. If there was some type of evidence, then I'm sure we would all hear about it. I mean, am I
Well,
living under a
you're,
rock? Please enlighten me.
well, you're very sure, but you don't know. How do you know?
Because I think we would wouldn't this be like making headlines or something? Are you saying that there's like
Like,
this grand conspiracy to cover up the existence of God? I mean, if this is the case, then I would love to know about this. That I'm completely, I guess, living under a rock here.
okay, so you may think that you kind of go on and on without me taking the first question or whatever, but don't know that there is no evidence at all, do you?
Say that again.
Do you don't know that there is no evidence at all?
Of course, I don't know if there would be evidence. I'm saying we don't know.
Right, so there could be evidence, but you just don't know about it.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, so that means that God could exist,
Yeah,
but
sure.
you
Sure, he
say
could.
he, you say he does. You say God doesn't exist. Is that right?
Currently, to my knowledge, no, or anyone's knowledge, or any human understanding of our universe whatsoever. Any type of knowledge at all. There's no empirical evidence.
Okay, well, you say God does not exist without any evidence. So that's not the most rational position to take.
No, I'm saying to our understanding, God does not exist. He could exist. I'm saying it's a lot. The reason I take the position of choosing to say I don't believe, I disbelieve, right? I'm choosing not to believe. I'm not saying he doesn't exist. I'm saying I don't believe in existence. I'm choosing to say no, I do not believe. I'm not saying
Right.
I'm not taking the extra step of saying no, this thing does not exist. I'm saying I don't believe. This thing could exist, but until there is evidence put forth that, can is credible, can be, empirically backed, objective, not fucking scriptures, then we could get somewhere here. But until that, I choose to not believe, and that is not irrational.
Okay, so you until there's evidence that you could see for yourself, then
Not
you
not
will.
just me, but sure, it's not just me seeing it with my own eyes. It's just that it can be empirically backed. It's like because if I see something with like people see stuff all the time, and we don't know, we can't verify what they see because it can't be repeated. So like I don't like focusing on anecdotes, but
Well, at that point, whatever people see, they see it for themselves. It's proven to them. It just maybe you that haven't been proven to you yet, if at all.
proven to them, that's a
In other
lot.
words,
That's that.
other people may see evidence that you have not seen
Okay,
or has
but
not
if
been
if
presented.
they if they that's cool, right? But if they accept that as evidence that this exists for everyone else, they can't do that. That's not logical.
Well,
Because
they could be fair and say it hasn't been proven to you. They just have the evidence, and you haven't been. It hasn't been revealed to you
well, how
or
do we know
anybody.
that what they have is actually evidence and not just
Well,
complete delusion?
you don't know. You don't
Exactly.
know.
Exactly.
But
So
again, it's
until you can prove that it is not a delusion and make it so that I can also see it and that everyone else can also see it, then there exists no evidence that is not a complete delusion.
There is no evidence to you, just to you or anybody else that hasn't been revealed to.
Yes, or anyone else. Exactly how you put it. To me and everyone else. Only to that person. So I see no significance in anecdotal evidence for one person.
I'm not saying the proof is in other people seeing it. I'm just saying the proof only exists if it exists to
So
you.
so what do you think is I want to hear like an argument for like why I should believe in God.
Well, we're not really on the topic of proving God.
Then what
Obviously, the topic
if you
is on
so then
atheism,
you so then
one of the
you
topics.
if you don't have the position that you believe, you're not affirming your position that you believe, then what are we arguing about here? This you just it's just like your attack on atheism. I'm trying to understand your perspective, right? Since we're having a
My
debate.
perspective is my perspective is that atheism is not the most rational position to take on the existence of God.
And why is that? Unless you if you do, so do you believe in God?
Well, that has nothing to do with it.
Yes,
My
it does.
position
We're
on
discussing. It's
my
very
position
relevant. It's very
my
relevant.
position my position on atheism not being the most rational position is because if there is no being that there is no evidence to us, to you and I,
Is
that
there a
God doesn't
rational
exist.
position?
I have not finished. Because there's no evidence to you and I that there is no God, then the most rational position to take is agnosticism, not atheism.
No, no,
And atheism is a religion. You believe there is no God.
no. It's not a religion. So a religion. I mean, uh, I don't want to get semantical here, but like the atheism does not meet any forms of a religion at all. Like
Do
you,
you
if
believe there is God?
do I believe in what?
Do you believe there is no God?
I disbelieve in the existence of a God currently.
So you do believe there is no
I,
God,
I currently hold the position that there is no God.
right? So you believe there is no God.
I I'm not. So you're trying to get me to say that I believe that there cannot be God, and I'm not
You
going to say that.
believe there
I'm
is
not.
no
That's
existence
not.
of
That's not what atheism is. That's not what atheism does not believe that there cannot be God. Atheism is the belief that there is no God currently.
Okay, so if I were to ask you, do you believe there is no existence of God? Would that be true or false?
Say that again.
I'll put it this way. These are two statements. Well, either one of them is true. Atheists believe there is a God. Atheists believe there is not a God. Which one is true?
Atheists believe there is no God.
Right, so that's why I was asking. You believe there is no God.
Yes.
Okay, so that is your faith. That is the atheist faith.
No, it's not even that I believe. There's just like so like I love
It's
the word trickery here because there's no evidence.
it's
I
still
don't have a faith in anything. There's no faith being done here. There's no faith.
okay.
There's no the I my I'm just stating my observations, right?
Yeah.
My observation is that there is no reason for me to believe. No argument, no logical argument, no empirical evidence, and plenty of contradictions that go with the argument of the existence of God, which I would love to really get into here. But like you just like want to ask me why I what like I want to talk about religion more broadly. You're kind of getting like very specific here.
Okay, well, what do you want to know about religion?
Well, I want to know your position. and why you hold it.
I just said it.
What is your position?
My position is that atheism is the least rational position to take
Are you
on the existence of
agnostic?
God.
Are you agnostic?
That's my position for the sake of discussion.
Okay, that's all I was asking you for. So,
My position is that atheism is the least rational position to take on the existence of God. That's my position.
no, because I'm skeptical. I'm very skeptical due to all of the contradictions riddled within religion. There's I'm highly skeptical.
Okay, well, this is the reason why you believe there is no God, because you're very skeptical.
Hold on 1 second. What did you say?
Because you don't see any evidence and that you're skeptical, that's why you believe there is no God.
No. Well, I'm skeptical because of the contradictions. There's multiple reasons. So there I'm skeptical of the religion because of its contradictions, its moral implications, and the fact that there is no evidence to support that line of reasoning. There's no logical reasoning behind any of it.
You say there's contradictions in religion. Is that what you said?
In any belief, in any God. If I was to currently believe, if I was to currently say I believe in God right now, then I'm saying that's a God of gaps. Like you can't do that. There's nothing to support that.
So there's contradictions in religion, and religion doesn't make sense to you. That's what you said.
Yes, not at all. And
Okay.
there's many more implications within it. The whole idea of it.
So it would make sense. So if it would make sense to you, would that start you on a journey to looking at possibility of God, believing God existing?
Yeah, possibly, but it would the bar of evidence is very high. Like they they gotta there has to be like a actual like scientific study on this. Like there has to be empirical evidence to back this. There there's nothing else that and it has to be credible. It can't just be like one little like uh study that is uncredible and makes like these wild claims with these broad definitions, which is and all of the religious theories that have been proposed to science, they've all been debunked, every single one of them, not a single one, and nothing within science as well also points to the existence of a god. Like nothing, like if you learn anything throughout, I mean, are you big into science at all?
Oh no.
Well, you should look into it because it's very interesting. But when you learn about it, like there's nothing. All of the mechanisms to which our universe works, none of it points to any sort of divine deity or creator that is human in any sort of way. Like and ever like or like there's no reason for that to be logical in any sort of way. Like nothing points to the existence of God. So if anything, like there I there I do believe on a personal level there's something else, but definitely not no human like fucking deity, not no shit like that. It's just another mechanism to which the universe functions. Why would the creation why would the creation somehow have to be supernatural in order to for it to exist? That is illogical to me. That's why I hold the position of atheism, to disbelieve in something that is supernatural, that can't be explained in the fundamental ways that our universe is explained in. That is illogical. So yes, I do hold the position that God does not exist.
So you're into science and I guess learning all about the data and the different things that the scientists have produced, pretty much different findings and research. And you learn and you observe or do your own research, and then things are starting to click and you understand. And I think you said you're open to, uh, well, I'll just put it this way. Since you said that religion and contradictions don't make sense, and these religions don't make sense, a lot of them. What have you done to like try to see if you can learn more about them so they can become clearer?
Debate people all day on this. See if anyone can present me any sort of argument. I've tried to contact preachers to see if they can present me any sort of argument. Every single one of them gave up saying that unsavable, that I'm a demon sent from hell. It's like this is ridiculous. Like I've yet to find a single religious person who can sit down and have an actual argument or actual discussion just at all proposing why God might exist empirically or physically at all in a way that I don't have to like imagine it.
Just a moment.
You're good.
Okay. Um, just a thought. I could be wrong, but it could possibly be. I think you said you've spoken with preachers or ministers. It could
Hmm.
possibly be that because you're going there to debate and argue, or try to being argued into the existence of God or the proof thereof, it may not work that way. You may not understand that way. You actually have to go and listen and be taught and educated.
I've been through other stuff. I've been through youth groups where I've had to sit through fucking mass and listen to their bullshit. I've had Bible study where I've had to fucking break down what we think this verse is supposed to mean to us. Like it's just bullshit.
So you've asked a lot of questions and each one of them were answered.
Yeah, with a bunch of you just have to see, you have to it's all of a metaphor and it's just God works in mysterious ways. There's never a clear answer to my question. Why what it's all just distraction. So like if I ask like why would if I ask a moral question, right? And I say, "Oh, well, why would God allow this or such and such?" They'll say, "Oh, free will." But then at the same time, God can also influence our physical world with miracles. So why the fuck does he only do certain miracles? Well, then they say, "Oh, well, that's just free will again." But that like it's just there's no consistency to how God functions in any sort of way.
Well, I would just say, I mean, if that's the best you can receive, then yeah, you would probably have to fire those teachers.
I mean, yeah, but I have yet to see anyone, anyone, like literally any preacher at all watching like YouTube videos or anything. I've never found any information online. I've talked to many religious people, all from different. I've talked to Muslims, talked to Jewish people, talked to all different types of people who hold all different types of beliefs, and I still do, which is why I debate here today. Because if anyone has some sort of argument, I'm always open to hear it, but it has to be a logical argument. See, at the end of the day, right? I'm an intellectual, right? So I'm not gonna just sit here and be dismissive over and over again for no logical reason, right? If I'm dismissing a certain thing, it's gonna be for a reason. and I can always articulate that reason if asked.
What? So I think we've. You said the other topic was transgenderism.
Yeah, but I want to get into the politics a little bit because you said that you don't believe in like separation. So like, what do you mean by that? Like, do you mean that there is no separation of church and state, or there should be no separation of church and state? Like,
Well, there actually is no such thing as separation of church and state because whether you have a state of people, you're always going to have a belief system that'll administer or apply those beliefs to the in the law.
doesn't have to be that way. Who says? Why does that have to be that way?
There's no there's no non-existence of a belief system. When
Currently,
people
but you're
when
so like currently yes, but there could be so like in the event that I mean I'm under the assumption that that if everyone in the world was educated to the highest level, because there's statistical evidence backing my argument. If you look at like the smartest or what we consider to be the smartest people in the world, right? And you work your way up. So you go from like mathematicians, right? Or to just like college educated people to, high level mathematicians to then like elite philosophers, right? As you go up, like the number of religious people drops as you go from like just like college educated people to like highly credited people that we consider to be like geniuses in our study. The numbers start to drop a little bit more, and then like elite philosophers that we consider to be like you know the people like fucking Da Vinci and shit, Socrates and shit, Aristotle.
yeah, because there is there for far as I know, there is no person that knows everything, so that leaves the capacity of a belief system. So that can never be avoided, even in government.
Why 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 do you say that that can never be avoided? Just because of our current system and how it functions?
Because nobody, to my knowledge, no person knows everything. If you knew everything, there wouldn't be a point to believe because you know.
You don't need no, not one person needs to know everything. That's why we have the ability to communicate, right? And even further, we have the ability to like share information, like keep records of information, right? Like live in a very advanced society. Like everything that we're saying right now is being recorded, right? And anyone in the world has the ability to, well, anyone that has access to the internet, this is just a money problem here, is anyone that has access to the internet is able to sign in to YouTube and watch this video and listen to everything that we're saying. And it's just an education problem. Or if you want to argue that education is ineffective, absolutely. It needs to be there needs to be way more effective education for the masses. Absolutely. But when you say that if you're saying that there should be no separation of church and state, that's where I say absolutely not, because that gets completely in the way of trying to educate people about secularism and like just like science and the world around them. They're like objective things that aren't subjective. Because my problem with religion is it's completely subjective. Why are we? Why would we ever like if we have no separation of church and state? There's immediately going to be a million Christians that want their kids to be taught Christianity in school, and we can't do that because like it, it's just it's completely anti-progressive. Completely.
Yes.
You agree to that?
I can think about it. I can think on it.
All right. But if you wanted to move on to transgenderism, go ahead. What's your what's your view of what's your stance on transgenderism? I just I don't have any problems with it whatsoever.
Well, I'll put it like this, because transgenderism is there's so many different ways I could go with it, probably depending on what exactly we're talking about with transgenderism. But I'll just put this statement like this. It's any person that is going through what they call, I guess, a gender or identity situation, whatever's going on with that person. I definitely champion that that person does all he or she can to seek, uh, I guess it may depend on how far along they are, but any type of deconversion therapy, something that would help them, they would be analyzed, they would be interviewed to make sure that this is not a mistake what they're doing about going through a transition.
I mean, when you say deconversion, right? I think that the goal should not be deconversion. I think it should be making sure that, like you said, that this is what they want to do, right? That this is actually, you know, something that is affecting them. But like that's pretty obvious. Like if somebody is going to the level of like hurting themselves, right? Wouldn't you say like, maybe this is something that should be looked into more. Maybe this person feels like they're not being taken seriously, you know, especially when this is like consistent, you know, and there's evidence that they do it because of the fact that people don't take them seriously.
Yes, there is, like, say, like, for example, a person wants to make the decision to have all these procedures and treatments done. Basically, before they can even do that, they actually have to go through some type of therapy to try to reverse and resolve them actually trying to transition.
I think that the therapy should be more focused on uh, curbing suicidal tendencies rather than like it's more about making the person feel comfortable in their body, because at the end of the day that's the issue. The person does not feel comfortable in their body, right? They feel like they've been born into the wrong body, and they need to feel like they're in the correct gender, right? I don't view it as like a mental issue. Do you? That they're like they shouldn't think this way, that like
Uh,
that is what needs to be treated, they're the way they think about how they feel.
yes, I would say there's some type of issue because there's some type of disorder because a person they were born with a mind with a body that does not match. So there's some type of disorder there.
Well, I would say there's like it's different, but like I don't want to treat that as like, oh, it's a disability or any like if you want to get really technical with it, sure, you could say, oh, it causes, depression because, they feel like they're not in the right body. Well, technically, yeah, sure, it's a disability, and that's, but I don't view it as like the person is wrong for viewing that they were born in the wrong body, because maybe that's possible, because like there's neurological evidence that uh like there's a certain part in the brain where uh like it influences, I can send you a video on it. I don't want to talk about it because I don't want to quote something wrong. but I'll cite this video. It's a professor talking about uh the neurological parts of like transgenderism. Basically, he was saying, "Where's my phone?" He was saying that like people are born. There's a certain part in the brain where people, if you look at it, you can determine what like sex someone is, and basically in transgender people, like it wasn't matching with what body they had. Fuck, where's my phone? You can go ahead and respond while I look for my phone. You know what? I can just look it up on
People that are going through or seeking to transition, I definitely urge and champion and encourage that they do all they can to try to uh, deconvert or reverse the process. I believe I heard about
here.
some
So you
people uh,
you you
online on YouTube that have actually done so. They've actually had the deconversion therapy and it was successful. And they realized that 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 was a mistake what they were doing, and that uh, they do support having that therapy first before
so
anything else.
yeah, so that's not the therapy that I'm talking about. You're talking, so you're more concerned with, you think that they shouldn't be affirming their gender. They absolutely should be. That's what makes them more comfortable. Not that not all transgenders want to deaffirm their gender. Affirming their gender is what a lot of transgenders seek and what helps them. You're focusing on like people that have like had regrets about what they did, but like that's not most of transgenders. That's a false equivalence.
Any person that desires to go through the transition, uh, I do encourage that they go through the therapy process to prevent any further transition.
You're just repeating yourself. I
If,
I heard you.
if well, that's where we come back to the bottom line. It's in other words, a person that desires transition, don't just go ahead and do it, but actually go through all of the channels to see if it can be reversed successfully. And after through all of the rigorous long processes of trying to and they're unsuccessful, then there's really nothing you can do. The person is going to affirm it and most likely will not um, ever attempt deconversion therapy after that.
Went to their deathbed saying, "This is not the sex that I am. I got the wrong body," but never made the change. It wasn't a function of having actually gone through the transition and the endocrine manipulations with it. Another control they had, which was looking at men.
So we could stop it there, but that's pretty much what I wanted to show you. I mean, that's pretty interesting, don't you think? That their brain is affirming that they are correct in saying that they were born in the wrong body. The neurobiology backs what they're saying. So it's not actually like improper brain functioning, it's actually proper brain functioning. They're actually right. What's your response to that?
Yeah, that goes along with what I said. I said that people will have a mind of one sex, but then have a body not to match. So that's why I said that's still like a disorder.
Right, but then you said that you want them to detransition, right? But that's what transitioning is what they need. You say that they are born in the wrong body. So why can't they be in the right body? It's is their body more correct than their mind?
Well, basically what I said is I encourage the deconversion process or therapy.
That's not possible
Uh,
though.
yeah, I encourage it regardless of how far along the transition is, early, later. Uh,
Why? Why?
and
Why if it's not possible? You're just not affirming their gender. That's just counterproductive. If we determine that the pro if the if we can determine that the person is actually been born in the wrong body, would you still support detransitioning therapy? If we determine
that's
that they
part that's part of the therapy. If they're able
no,
to prove, okay.
what do you mean? That's part of the therapy.
Well, as I was trying to finish the statement, if they're going through the therapy, and once they're going through a very, very elaborate therapy, a very elaborate process, if at the end of it, and it was a very rigorous process, that this person just will not, uh, what is it? Uh, they won't rescind, but they are affirming it, then they've gone through the therapy successfully and still come out the same way. There's nothing you can do. Just
So
leave it alone.
let's say this. Let's say we had like a test. Remember, he was just saying that there's like there's a part of the brain that can determine whether or not what sex you are, and that the people that are transgender, that their part of the brain is correct and their body isn't. So if we had a test that could test those people's brains, right, instead of just doing the therapy and trying to detransition them, what if you could go to the doctor, get tested to see if you were born in the wrong body? Would you, if that test came back positive that they were born in the wrong body, would you support them having therapy to not affirm their gender?
No, because that would be a part of the therapy. Therapy I'm talking about.
So your concern is just with making sure that that's what they want.
The concern is having the deconversion therapy done. And if for whatever reason that is successful and they they're not going to transition, good. But if it's not successful, or excuse me, if they come out at the end of it and they're still affirming what they are, and because I don't know what all goes into it. I'm looking at it on the outside, looking into it.
All right,
So
neither of us are therapists.
whatever happens at the end of it, if if they're still going to affirm it, there's nothing you can do. Leave it alone.
So if they go through the therapy and the doctors find the doctors and the therapists find that they're not lying, you support them affirming their gender in basic
I'm not going to say
terms.
I support it. I just say I just let them. They're going to do what they do.
What-
I just encourage them going to the therapy. Whatever happens at the end of it, happens at the end of it.
Why are you just concerned with like making sure we weed out all the people who don't want to be transgender? Why is that so concerning to you?
Because that's better than just going with someone just saying I'm just going to transition
Do you
and don't
also
have
do
any therapy at all. I'm just going to transition and
okay?
take the position, and
D
that's it.
Okay, so then do you also take the position that people that want to get like other cosmetic jobs, like people that want to get like boob jobs and shit and like lip jobs, should they also go through like deconversion therapy first before they get their treatment? Do you
Let's
support that
see,
as
like
well?
modification too. Yeah, sure. If
So at
if
the
you
end of
want
the
to
day,
modify,
that's what all this is. It's just
if you
advanced body modification.
if you want to modify your body, find out what you don't like about your body. Find out if it's where the hatred is coming from.
Oh, so you do support the deconversion therapy for any type of body modification.
Yeah, they can find out where the strong disdain and the strong dislike for why their body is naturally the way it is, why they don't like it.
Maybe that's just their personal preference. Do you think that, like, let's say I want to get a tattoo. Is that not? Is that not? Should I get therapy for that? Because I just want to have some art on my skin.
I would encourage it, sure.
Why? What's wrong with me?
Don't
For
name anything that you do against on your body because
Do you cut your hair?
this is something you're doing with your body.
Do you cut your hair?
Uh, I'm not gonna be against people that want to get to the root of why they really want to do this thing to their body. They weren't born naturally, or the body doesn't naturally, as is.
Okay. Do you cut your hair?
Yes.
Why do you modify your body? Do you go to like deconversion therapy for that?
No, I don't believe that's a modification.
It's not a modification. What do you mean? Your hair naturally grows. There's nothing that chops it off. You did that artificially.
Yeah, but I don't believe cutting your hair is a modification to your body.
It absolutely
A
is.
modification,
It changes
a
the way you look.
modification, a modification to your body would be doing something to your scalp that wouldn't have a grow hair again,
Oh,
or keep from getting too long.
your hair is not part of the body?
It is, it's attached to the body, but the modification would be doing something to your scalp in order to prevent hair from growing or keeping it from getting too long. But the body growing the hair will continue to keep growing the hair, even when you cut it. So you're not really changing what
Y-
the body is doing. It's just
you
going to keep going.
um, oh,
But once you change
you're
a
not
physical
changing.
part of your body, you changed it. You've actually innately done something to your body.
So if I get a tattoo, what did I change? My body's gonna function the same. Your skin still functions the same. Just got ink under there.
I'm not too learned up on what tattoos do to your skin or what configuration changes or with around the ink. I mean, we're kind of delving all over the place.
Well,
I don't
I
I
think
don't know
it's
too
just
much
like
about these areas,
I think
and
it's
I don't know too much about transgenderism or too much about the therapy process.
don't you think
There's no harm in going to the therapy. So there shouldn't be any argument for people getting therapy, especially
I
if it's something that helps.
no, I only think that people should be getting therapy if they want to make body modifications that are like actually like harmful to their body, like very harmful. Like if it's causing people like actual pain. Like for trans, the reason I would support therapy for transgender people is because they go through like mental health issues because they don't feel affirmed in their body. I would only support therapy until they feel affirmed and comfortable in their body and they've worked out their issues with like depression and stuff like that. But nobody's depressed over getting a tattoo. Nobody's depressed over like getting a piercing, getting their
Do you
ears
know?
pierced. Huh?
How do you know? How
Because
do you know?
I've got my ears pierced. I wasn't depressed. I just wanted
How do
fucking
you know nobody is depressed about a tattoo?
I mean, maybe there's some people, but like majority
I
of people do
mean,
not get tattoos because they're depressed. A lot of people get tattoos because they like the art or they want to make a commemoration to something or they just want something permanent on their body, a reminder. Like there's nothing depressing about that. That's usually the main reason. The main reason people usually get tattoos. A lot of people just get tattoos because they're like, "Fuck it, I want to." They literally go out, they get drunk, and they're like, "Yeah, I want to have a good time. This is part of me having a good time. I'm gonna get a fucking stupid tattoo of some stick figure," and they do it as a joke. Like the people get tattoos for all different sorts of reasons. The main reason is definitely not because they are depressed. That's why I know that because that is definitely not the main reason. There's many other reasons, and the main one is not depression.
do you think I like my skin, or any person would like his skin as is if I want to color it?
Yeah, I don't think it's about skin color. I think it's about using your body as basically the idea is like you can draw on it and it will just stay there. Like you have something on you, something that you can keep with you that's physically attached to you. That's
If
part
I
of you.
love, if I like
It's
a
symbolic.
skin color, so if I like a skin color the way it is, just as it is, do you think I would get a tattoo? Or that person would get a tattoo?
Yes, yes, you can like your skin color and get a tattoo. Yes, people.
Contradiction.
No, how is that not a how is that a contradiction?
If I like something as is, I'm not going to change it. I'm not going
Yeah,
to
I'm not.
alter
You're
it.
not. When you get a tattoo, you don't change your entire fucking skin color. It's not like when I go get a tattoo, I'm going from being a white person to hey, going in there saying, "Hey, tattoo me black." No, that's not how it works. I get a little small tattoo of something that is symbolic for me, a part of my skin. Something I
I'm
just
sorry. I'm sorry. I probably wasn't clear. When I say I like or a person likes their skin, I mean from head to toe.
what I have to like every single cell on my and
You can like whatever you like. Maybe you don't. There are other people that do.
what? Why do I have to? Well, I can't just think like you. So you're telling me that you fucking like you love the fucking bottom of your ass cheeks. I mean, I'm just being hyperbolic here, but it's just like, come on. Like, what is the
So you
significance
think
use of
do
that?
you think
Like,
it's
there's so
impossible for people to love their skin?
not. I mean, I can love my skin. Me putting a tattoo over it doesn't make me love my skin any less.
Yeah, that's you. But there are people that love their skin through it, their skin color through and through.
You're implying that I
So
don't like it through and through.
those people
I
probably
like
will
you.
not get a tattoo.
I, I I I don't know what you mean like by through and through. I still love my skin through and through. Just because I put a
Hmm.
tattoo on it doesn't mean that I don't love my skin. I'm modifying it to be unique to me. So all right, so for instance, so that's basically like saying if somebody fucking, gets like a little decal on their car that they must not love the fucking car. Would you say that people that like modify their cars to be like fast that they don't love their cars? They absolutely do.
Are you asking me the question or are you going to answer it?
I mean, it was pretty rhetorical, but
Okay.
you really shouldn't say no, they don't love their cars because they do.
Do they love them the way it is?
When they modify it, yes.
So before they didn't?
Before it wasn't unique to them. They didn't value it as much. They valued
They
it, but
love it the
not
way
as
it
much.
was. Did they love it the way it was?
Not at that current time, obviously. Not when they got the tattoo. No, they was just like,
Exactly.
I wanna do something different. Yeah, but people don't think about it like that. You're being you're thinking way too much into that. Like it's not like when I go to like if I was to go to like a tattoo place, right? I'm gonna go in there and be like, oh man, I'm gonna cover up this fucking spot on my arm forever, and 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 this spot will forever be gone and never be a part of me. No, people go into a tattoo place and they say, hey, I want to get this tattoo on me and I want something to remember, something that I can keep with me. It's about the fact that it's permanent.
Yeah, I do accept that people like tattoos and people like the way tattoos look on them, look on their skin. They 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 like their skin with the tattoo. So they like that. If they like that more than just having it without it, that's why they got the tattoo.
But you're implying that like they hate their bodies beforehand. Like no, it's not like they dislike their body. It's that they would like it more if they could make this modification. They would bring them enjoyment.
Right, so they don't like it enough to never be without it.
To be without no, that's not true. It's not that they can't be without it. People can go without being tattoos and they do all the time. I've wanted tattoos on my body. I just haven't gotten any yet, and I probably will eventually, but I just haven't because I wanna make sure that that it is valuable to me, something that I want to keep on my body for the rest of my life. I'm not one of those people that, just does it out of the whim. But if I was to go get a tattoo, it wouldn't be because I want to cover up this part of my body. It's because I want to keep something with me. So it's sentimental value. So you can't take away that tattoo from me. Nobody can take away that. That's the value. That's why people do it. It's because it's priceless in its value. Your body is actually, they value their body so much that they feel that if they make this modification, they can have something that is priceless, that cannot be taken away from them. They want to modify their body because of that.
Okay, so do you agree that there are people that regret being transgender?
Some people, yeah, sure.
Okay, and people that regret that, they they probably have some misery or some, they have emotional stuff going on with that. That's probably something that you agree that they probably wouldn't want.
Yeah, just like if somebody got a tattoo and they regret it, they would be like, "Oh, damn!" People get their tattoos covered up. That happens.
Okay, so there's nothing wrong with encouraging therapy first.
Why? Why? I mean, you could encourage it, but like, sure, but like, I, I, I- when you say encourage it, what do you mean by that? How are we gonna
Support
encourage
it.
therapy?
You support it. If people would ask you, let's say for example, somebody asks you, should I get therapy? You say, yeah.
Okay, yeah.
I'll take you
If
to the
somebody, yeah,
therapy.
yeah, if somebody was
I'll
to
take you to
ask,
the therapy,
yeah,
whatever.
yeah, I don't see any problem with that. If somebody was to ask you, should I get therapy? There's nothing wrong with supporting someone. There's never anything wrong with supporting something that you think might be beneficial for someone. No, no. Like therapy is useful, but if you, the way it sounded like to me is that you were like saying that we should prescribe this. Like if you go to the tattoo place, they should be like, hey, go to therapy first and then come back and get the tattoo. If you're saying anything like that, fuck no. But if you're just saying like if somebody was to come up to you and say, hey, should I get therapy because I want to make this change and I'm not too sure about it. Sure, there's nothing wrong with supporting someone.
In terms of transgenderism, I do say prescribe therapy first.
Oh yeah, for transgenderism, yes, because there's like mental it's well documented that like this is like a medical issue and it requires medical intervention. So yes, I wouldn't be against prescribing therapy for transitioning. Yeah. I don't have any qualm with that. Excuse me. So like,
Well,
is this like your only position on transgenderism? Like, just prescribe therapy first? I mean, this is what.
yeah, that's pretty much all I really got towards it right now. I don't really spend a lot of time talking about it or thinking about it or whatever like that. But
I mean, we already
it's
do
been fun.
this. Like, this is already a part of the process for gender affirming care. It's usually like the first step doctors do. So, I mean, I don't. So then you don't have an issue with anything. You're you're happy with the way the process works, right?
I'm happy that they're going to therapy. I'll put it that way. But I mean, it's been fun, man. Did you have anything else you wanted to get out? I think I'm gonna roll out shortly.
No, I think that was it. It was a pretty lively debate. Uh, I don't know. My bad if I was steamrolling you a little bit there. I didn't mean to. Sometimes I can I can talk a little bit long and whatnot, but uh, I I was just trying to understand your position, but it's all good. I don't know. You got anything else you want to say?
No, I think that'll be it for now. I definitely appreciate you taking the time out today to talk. Uh, I don't know if you normally stop by other channels or whatever, or how active you are on here, but I don't know. You can join us. Come on. I don't know if that other channel is still. I might jump in there.
All right. Well, I'll catch you later.